You guys are not even ready for this story. Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video. First things first, obviously I want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I'm still just like, I can't believe this happened. We hit 10,000K, and I have had a YouTube channel since 2013. However, for like my first year or a little bit over that, I didn't make it public. I would record videos and upload them and not tell anyone. It was a secret. And then I finally made my channel open, and it was gonna be about like fashion and clothes and stuff like that. And then I got this job and I changed it to what it is now and what it has become, The Pretty Passenger. And the amount of love and support and feedback and back and forth that I get with you guys, it's insane. The support has been so overwhelming. So from the bottom of my heart, especially to all you new subscribers that are coming along, thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy the videos. You guys know that they're so all over the place. That's just me. That's my personality. You all accept that. I go back and watch old videos and it's so embarrassing to me, but at the same time I still love to see the transformation from then till now, because with this channel and with my new career I have grown so much as a person. So I do appreciate that a lot, that you guys are really supportive and get to see all aspects of my personality and still enjoy it and still find these entertaining. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. These balloons in the background, by the way, they're from the photo shoot. If you all follow me on Instagram, you'll see the pictures with these. But anyways, my trip to Buenos Aires. I went to Argentina, you guys. I went to Buenos Aires on my 8 days. Mind-blowing. And I finessed a little bit, and I'm gonna tell you guys exactly what I did. Now this story is crazy. The whole trip was so crazy. I loved every second of it. So what happened? I bid for my block of 6 A-days. These are my on-call days. So I had 8 days. They started on the 30th. So 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, so my 8 days started on the 30th. The first day I wanted to sit. I did not want to go out because I needed to edit, because I was trying to catch up on videos for my second channel, It's Ashley. So I was like, oh please don't let scheduling use me. And the thing about this is, first of all, it's summertime flying, so there were trips on the board, but they were going pretty quickly. However, there was a lot of international for the 30th. So I kept thinking to myself, I'm just gonna do it. I'm like on a whim. We have a new bid system, so I had to watch this video to figure out how to use that system, which I mean that was long overdue that I watched that. But anyways, I went on there. I bid for a trip that started on the 1st. So in my head I was like, I'll get the 1st, the 2nd, and the 3rd, and then maybe I can get something with a late sign-in so that I can do something on July 4th. Well, when I went on the board and saw the trips that were out there, I was like, wow, there's a good bit of international, and you all know how I feel about international. Now, I have been watching previous old videos of me from years ago just to kind of like refresh and see things that I said and be like, oh, Ashley, why did you do that? And I watched my Why I Don't Fly International video. So I've kind of developed this new mindset of like things that I want to do differently, and stop saying no to certain things. And instead of me having all these goals and wanting to do this, that, and the other, stop saying that and actually put forth an effort and just do it. Like, there's so many things that I procrastinate and I put off. So I was like, you know what, we're gonna do it. We're gonna bid for an international. And in my head, the back of my mind, I was like, oh, I probably won't get it. However, I'm going to get some 3-day trip, more than likely on the 30th. Well, I'm sitting all day the 30th on the computer, laptop, editing, doing all these videos, and then nothing happens. So it gets to the point of where it's late enough for me to know I'm not getting anything. I'm not getting used. So I'm like, ooh, scheduling. I slid under the radar. Nobody knows I'm off. I'm not calling anyone. I'm not checking. I'm not even going to sign in to iCrew just in case it triggers something and then they see, oh, she logged in. We forgot that one. Let's give her a trip. Nothing. So the second day, the 1st of July, first day of the month, and so I don't know what it is about the first day of every month, but I just feel like all my plans are coming together, everything. I get really organized on the first day, just for the rest of the month. So in my head I was like, it's July, we're gonna do things differently for July. I've got all these other things going on behind the scenes that I was working out and trying to like get organized. Well, I go on the board and I see what's out there, and I was like, okay, this is what we're working with. I bid for international trips that started that day. Just spur of the moment. I just was like, I'm gonna do it. Worst thing that can happen is I don't get it, whatever. I was like, I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna go into this with an open mind. And so I go on the board, I see what's out there. And this ended up working to my favor. However, I did not know that it was going to work this way. So I bid for the first. I bid for 3-day trips, and about 5 hours from what my report time would have been, I get a text message, and it's like, oh, you have a 3-day rotation. I was like, oh, I managed to get through the first day. They didn't use me. Here it is, the second day. Okay, so I can't see all of the message, and I'm doing other things, so I'm not really paying attention. Actually, where's my phone? Oh, it's on the charger. I was gonna pull the text message up, but I look at it really quickly, and I was like, oh, it's a later report time. Perfect. So I've still got plenty of time. Well, I go, since I'm on my laptop doing stuff, I pull it up in like on the website, and then you get a pop-up immediately when you sign in, and I see the city code, and I'm just like, no. they did not give me what I asked for, because there were people that were ahead of me. So I was thinking, oh, I'm not gonna, you know, whatever, I'm not gonna get that. And there's no way of me knowing what they bid for, so I'm assuming they just didn't ask. So I look at it, and it says EZE, and it has the report time, and it says that I'm like the floater position. And so I sit there, like I'm legit sitting there looking at my phone going, be careful what you wish for. So in my head I was like, oh my god, I'm going to Buenos Aires, I'm going to Buenos Aires. So I get really excited, I start packing. I'm sure you guys have seen that video. So by this point I'm very excited, because now I realize I'm going to be flying the 1st, the 2nd, and the 3rd. And then the way this trip worked with us is the layover in the middle was long. It was like 36 hours. It was something really long. I don't remember exactly, but it was a longer international layover. Not only was it longer, the way it worked, when I came back the morning of the 4th of July, I was gonna be off for 24 hours because of our rest rules. So I got into the 4th of July back to Atlanta, and I had the whole day off, and so I was able to go do things for the 4th of July. And then I put my last A day, that would have been on the 5th, up on the board to see what would happen, because I was like, oh, there's only one left. They dropped it. And in my head I'm thinking, how at my seniority, I'm number 20,000 and something, I don't even know the exact number, I've been flying for 2 years, how did this happen? So I get to fast forward, I get to the briefing room, and I see the crew, and I was like, oh my god, please let the crew be nice. Like, I know they're gonna be nice, but please let them be super nice and understanding. So we get in there. Now our crew was Los Angeles, Atlanta, New York, and Detroit base. Like, between all of us, we were all different bases. So they're mentioning, because they're looking at me like that, I know she's young, I know she's junior, and so they're talking about, oh yeah, I picked this up because it was worth a really good time, and then it got back, and I'm off for the next week. So they're saying all this stuff about how great of a trip this is. So I'm thinking, how in the world am I here? So they asked me, you know, what's your seniority? We can tell you're junior. I told them, you guys, I do not fly international. I will absolutely do anything, you know, I want to go above and beyond. We all want to get to crew rest. I want to pull my weight, but please be patient and work with me. They were so understanding, so like, they were just so sweet to me. So the woman who was our purser, she got escalated to this trip. So originally she didn't know that she was going to be flying lead. So when it comes time to bid, they're passing around these papers, and they've got their flow, so they kind of know how things work. And I'm just sitting there like I always just kind of go off of what other people do, especially at briefing, because I'm the baby. So it gets to my time to sign in, and I'm the last one to sign in, and it says, like, I forget what the code was, whatever, but I was Galley. Now I have never in my life never done Galley. Now I've flown international, and I've always told the crew, you know, you guys, I'm really junior, I've been flying for this long, and they're always like, oh, it's fine, this person's gonna do Galley, because there's a lot of flight attendants out there that prefer that position. You just get in your zone, you don't have to really be in the aisles, you set a lot of things up. So I tell them, I was like, you know, I'm new, and when the sheet gets to me, I'm Galley. And so in my head I'm thinking, ooh, what? I got to the briefing room, or not to the briefing room, I got down to the lounge, and I didn't print, like, there's all these like print offs and stuff where you can kind of see the flow of everything. Well, I didn't print any of that, because in my head I was thinking they probably won't stick me in the Galley. Well, they did. Now they didn't, it was like not a malicious thing, like you're gonna be Galley. No. I told them, I was like, I need to learn how to do this. In that moment, I decided, whatever, I've never done it before. I've always ran from this position. I've always been afraid to do it. I'm never gonna learn how to do it if I keep putting it off. So I told them I'm more than willing to do Galley, but please just be patient with me because I am new. So we go around and we do our introductions and everything else. Fast forward, we're on the plane. I'm looking at the plane like, what in the world? This is the 7.6 version I've never even been on, but you know, I'm getting familiar, trying to see where everything is. Well, I go to the back. That's my usual routine. Put my suitcase up there. Like, no honey, you're up front, come put your stuff in the closet. I walk up front because we have our Delta One service on this flight, and the closet is like the size of my bathroom. So I'm thinking, wow, like clearly this is the life. I see why these senior mamas and senior papas are like domestic. But anyway, I throw all my bags up in the closet and I open every single, like all of this Galley is so big. So I open everything. I'm like, open it up, trying to see where everything is. Well, then I realized, oh, we haven't been cleaned and catered. So that was pointless. So I go back through and shut everything because they hadn't come yet. And so I'm talking to everyone and they're just, you know, saying, hey, I'm New York based, I'm gonna do this on the 4th, just chit chat. So they clean, they cater, everything gets started. And we really lucked up, and I'm finding that instances like this, in my head sometimes I'll be like, wow, that was so lucky, wow, that was a coincidence. And I don't think that it is. I think that when you genuinely have like a good outlook on things and a good personality and try to be positive, that good things will come to you. So in my head I was a little stressed out, but I didn't want to show it. I wanted the crew to not to think, oh, these junior people, they don't know, like I wanted them to respect me, which I'm not saying that they didn't respect me, but I just wanted them to think, okay, she's got it, like we can trust her, we know she's gonna knock the Galley out, get everything, do everything she can. So I was freaking out internally a little bit, but I really pulled through, and I'm very proud of myself that I finished this. So what ended up happening was we were delayed because it was something going on with the caterers and something that was missing in the back. So because of that, I was able to completely gut out the Galley, get everything, see where everything was, take all the like plastic off the meals, take it, like it gave me so much time to actually set everything up. So one of the guys, the next junior person who was like 14,000, so I'm 20,000, he's like 14,000. He comes up, he was like, wow, this is really great for you, especially since you never do the Galley, because now you've got this time and you don't have to rush through it. So I was able to go through and him explain, this is how we do this. We put the limes in this little section. This is where the cutlery is. This is where there was stuff we had up there. I never even heard the name of it. What was that glass called? It was this one, I can't remember. It was like this really fancy name for the glass we put the orange juice in. But anyway, I was able to see everything and them slowly walk me through it. And from the way they were telling me, they were being so patient with me and so understanding. And it was one of those things too where they're like, ooh, we're the senior people and here's this little junior mama. We're going to teach her the ways and show her the ropes. So they were really great. Thank you all so much. I don't know if they'll ever see this, but my Buenos Aires crew, you guys were amazing. Love you all. So we get everything set up. We're all ready to go. Everyone comes on board. Boom, knock the service out. So I'm in the Galley. Y'all, I was in the Galley getting it. Like, there were things that I was doing wrong, or things that I was like, ooh, I'm being so productive, I'm gonna do this for you guys, and they were like, you don't need to do that, it's fine. Like, I just felt the need to just go above and beyond. I'm like, ooh, I'm doing this and doing that, and they're like, it's okay, now we rest, like, you're good. So I was just so like, ooh, and I had drank this Prove It, so I was like, oh, I just had so much energy. But once we finished our initial service, I was on first break, so we're all done and everything gets set up. She writes our times on the sheet and everything for how long our break is going to be. So I take the sheet to the back and I tell them, I was like, they can still tell I'm so excited. They're like, no, it's time to sleep, calm down, you did really great, we're very proud of you. And now, you know, woosah, rest. So we go down to crew rest. I actually fell asleep, which was kind of bizarre to me. Now, I fell asleep in my contacts the first time. I actually filmed a little bit of crew rest, and you guys will see that in later on. But whenever I went down there, I didn't know what to bring with me. So I kind of just came down there with all the stuff that I ended up not needing. And I fell asleep in my contacts. So I woke up, my eyes were so dry, but I had drops and everything. And so I was just like, whew. it was a nice little nap. And I'm not a napper. I like to sleep. So for me to be able to nap and then wake up and feel functional was kind of like, in my head I was like, I don't know if my adrenaline is just rushing and I'm excited about this or what's going on. But so crew rest, done with crew rest, come upstairs. Then the rest of the crew goes down for their break. Now nothing really happened in between because we were on the late flight that went to Argentina, so a lot of people slept. It was pretty calm going there. Once I came back up from the break, I went up and like kind of cleaned up the galley a little bit, just kept busy, drank some tea, was chatting with the crew because it was some downtime because everyone was sleeping. So we already had everything pretty much set up for the next service that occurred, but it was a lot of like them just being able to like talk to me and give me some advice about things that were going to happen once we got to the city and everything like that. So once we landed, it was, I don't even know, it was morning time there, and it was also winter there. So that was another thing that I got lucky, because once I received my rotation and saw what time I had to sign in and everything, all my stuff, I was at my crash pad, so all my stuff was there, and I was able to like go on Google real quick and look up the weather, and then I packed for winter time over there. So in my head I was like, oh, this is so crazy, because I was texting my friends and family and stuff, and I was telling them, I was like, yeah, I'm about to go to South America, and they're like, oh my gosh, you know, pack a swimsuit, make sure you do this, that. I'm like, actually, it's winter time over there. So once we got to Argentina and we landed, got off the plane and everything, and got to the hotel, one of my crew members was like, you know, let's just go straight out. If we do the whole nap thing, if I fall asleep, I'm not going to get up. And I was right in there with him. I was like, yeah, that's true. So me and him ended up going to the city and going to this like little festival thing that they had going on not too far from the hotel. So what ended up happening, and the speakers did warn me of this, and I'm very appreciative of them, and that's another reason why anytime we have international layovers, I always try to look things up and like Google what's going on, depending on where it is. Some places you don't really have to worry about, but the speakers were talking about this on the flight, saying that there's actually a riot that was going on in Buenos Aires. So I don't know too much of the details of it, but it had something to do with the government, I believe. So they were telling me, and make sure you don't have any expensive jewelry on you, just go with the bare minimum, don't have your phone out, because I have a 6 Plus, so they were like, that phone, you know, it's valuable over there, we don't want anything taken from you, and just making me, they made me really aware, and were pointing out some things not to do. So I do have footage that I will upload that I filmed from the festival and everything, but I was really like making sure it was okay, and there were certain areas you could tell were more touristy and safer and not like sketchy or anything, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm a girl, you know, I'm not I had to make sure that I'm good. So went out with a guy. Now on our way, this is broad daylight, cannot make this stuff up, you guys. Broad daylight, on our way to this festival, these two guys came up behind us, and now they warned us of stuff like this happening on the bus ride from the hotel to, from the airport to the hotel. They were saying things that go on and things to be aware of. Well, we're walking to the festival, and I'm on the inside of the street, and he's walking on the outside. So we're on our way, we're walking. Well, all of a sudden we smelled it. It was just like this weird, I don't even know, like rotten egg type smell, and someone had thrown, I cannot make this up, someone threw, I wish I had, I don't know if there's any more on my jacket, like, some of it got on me, but it mostly got on him. So they threw some kind of like paste type thing, I don't know what it was, it just smelled really bad. And so once it happened, he turns around, and he did speak Spanish, and so he's talking to the guy. I have no idea what he was saying, but I know it wasn't nice. And so he's talking to the guy, and the other man was pointing up towards the window, saying something up there, that we think they threw something at you. Now mind you, this guy came up behind us, and the way it is on his jacket, because I watch CSI and Criminal Minds and all those shows like that. Well, let's say that this is his jacket. I'm getting so into this story. This is his jacket. Well, the splatter is all down. Like, if I was to take my hands and they were wet and just do this, it would be like this. If someone threw something at me from up at an angle, it was just the way that it was on his jacket. Not to get into details, but the way it fell in his jacket that he knew the guy threw something at him. And so he was saying that that was some kind of way he was trying to distract us, so that maybe he could come up and try to like take his wallet or see if anything was in my pockets, or I had a purse on me. And I had it pulled to the side, like it wouldn't have been any way for him to really grab it, but he was like, people will come up to you with scissors, cut it off and run. So there was nothing in my bag that was valuable. I don't keep stuff like that in a purse, just for situations like that. But anyways, he got mad and he was like, see, like this is the stuff I'm talking about, you know, you really need to be aware. But we ended up continuing and going on. We went to the festival, had a great time. I did record a good bit of that, so you guys will see that in the next part. But so after that whole incident and all that happened, I didn't film like a ton whenever we were just walking around the city. I kind of just like enjoyed it and observed and took stuff in, only because I didn't want to risk making us any more of a target or them trying to like take anything. So the city itself though, the part we went to the festival, it was so much fun. Everybody was laughing and talking and eating, and there were all these things to look at and buy and stuff. So once again, you guys will see that in the next clip. So once I got back to the room, went to sleep, knocked out. I was so tired because I had been up for the rest of the flight, and we just went ahead and went back out. We did go to this one place and like exchange our dollars for pesos. Lucky I had taken cash out beforehand and had money to convert to pesos, because I do not ever go into A days thinking that I'm going to get an international trip. Don't hold it, don't bid for it, don't ask for it, none of that. That's not normal for me to do it, so I never really have to worry about the money conversion thing. But I did have dollars and they went with me to convert them. So next day, woke up, because at this point after we got back to the room, I still had like another day and a half left in the city. So we planned to go ahead and sleep, and then that night we were gonna go out for dinner. So we all as a crew decided on a time, and there was like a room for us downstairs to meet up with and everything. So I ended up going down just a little early just in case, and there was actually an American crew that was in there already. So we were all like exchanging stories about just stuff that crew does and things that we find funny, and like inside jokes and stuff. And the pilots went and bought a couple of bottles of wine, and then we all just like shared it with them, and they had brought snacks down and everything. So after that we ended up going out and going to eat, and the van, there was like a little shuttle or something, they took us to this restaurant. Y'all, the place we went to, best steak I have ever had in my entire life, and I've eaten a lot of steak, and the place was so cheap. In my head I was thinking, how in the world, like we had steaks, margaritas, red wine, all these little like appetizer dishes. I don't even know what some of this stuff was. I was trying everything because I tend to do that whenever I'm in a new place, just because it's something different. So that they're talking to us and explaining all these dishes and pronouncing them. I don't even remember half of it, but it was such a culture shock and such a good experience at the same time. And I can't really explain why I like that. It's just something I do enjoy. Anytime, especially with Spanish speaking countries, I go somewhere and everyone around me is speaking in a foreign language, I have no idea what they're saying. There are some phrases, especially on flights, that are repeated quite often that trigger with you and you understand, and it made me really want to learn how to speak Spanish. But everyone's laughing and drinking their red wine and talking, and I'm like, I have no idea what they're saying, but they seem so happy. This is great, this is great. So we talked to the crew for quite a bit. I actually spilt red wine all over the captain. Whoops. He was so nice about it, and it was weird how it happened, because my arm just kind of like bumped it right at the wrong angle when I was reaching for the bread, and it spilled. And the way it fell too, it fell in his plate, so the plate got most of it and just a little bit got on his pants. But he was like, oh, it's fine, you know, Junior. He was like, you're Junior, so I'm gonna let you get away with it. But the crew was really great. And it's not really normal too for the flight attendants and for the pilots to necessarily go out to dinner together, but we had an amazing crew, so we ended up all going out together, which was really nice. Now on the way back, on the next day, I woke up that morning, went and got crepes, went and got Nutella hot chocolate. What is it? Correct me if I'm wrong, you guys know my Spanish is rocky, but I believe it was hot, how did they say it? Caliente. Caliente. Am I saying this wrong? Wrong. Caliente. So hot Nutella. It was like hot chocolate, but the Nutella version. Oh my god, it was so good. So I ended up going out getting crepes. So after that, I kind of had this guilt trip. Went back, read a book. I started Big Little Lies, and then I was like, ooh, I need to go to the gym. So went back up to my room, exchanged my stuff for my gym clothes. And whenever, like, the way this gym is, it's a nice gym. So it's kind of like you have to go downstairs to get to it, and then like sign your name. Anyway, I got to the gym, and there's a personal trainer that works in this gym, like just for whoever comes in there. And so I didn't know that. I just assumed that was like the person that gives you the towels or whatever. So I walked through, people kept speaking Spanish to me, and I kept saying no español, no español. So I don't know if they just assumed because I was in their country I spoke Spanish, but he started saying all this stuff, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're saying, but you're really, really nice. So I ended up doing like a personal training session with him. So he like walked me through all these like different drills in the gym, and I was on the treadmill like drenched in sweat. Well, there's like a little refrigerator in there, and he goes and gets a bottle of water and gives it to me. So I didn't know, you know, I was just thinking, oh, thank you so much, you know, I'm saying all this stuff in English, and I can tell some of the things that I'm saying. He doesn't know what I mean, but he was super sweet. So I leave the gym, I go to the sauna, which I don't know how this happened, but this necklace that I've been wearing recently, my Louisiana necklace, when I was sitting in the sauna, like, this is probably just some like cheap metal, it started getting so hot on my skin, I literally had to take it off and like put a towel underneath so that it wouldn't touch my skin. I don't know what was going on, like what this is. It's probably because it's cheap, but it was burning my skin. So the sauna was really nice. Then I took a shower and everything, go back to my room, hang out for a little bit more, read a book, watched, let me tell you, the Spanish, watching Spanish TV. Love it. I don't know if all of their TV shows are the same as ours, but they sound so much better and seem so, like, I'm just hooked. I'm sitting there like, what? How did he do that to her? Don't even know if I'm interpreting this right. I'm basically just going off what I see happening on the screen, thinking, oh, this is my interpretation of it. Crazy, amazing TV shows. There was a fire alarm that happened. I'll insert all of these clips to go with this crazy story afterwards, but it was so much that happened. I tried so many different like types of food dishes and snacks that I had never had before. Don't even know the name of some of it. If I did film it, I will record or insert that into the next video. When we check in, go to duty free, do our thing. We're walking through the terminal. Everyone's looking at us like, oh, look at the little flight crew. And then seeing some of the international flight crews too. I was like, oh, their uniforms are beautiful. Oh wait, I actually forgot to mention, on the shuttle ride from the hotel back to the airport, remember how I mentioned that water bottle? Well, it turns out there was a charge for it. I didn't know. So they call the room and they're like, hey, is Marissa or something, is she on the shuttle? And so the guy was like, no, that person, you know, asking, are any of you guys named this? They were like, okay, never mind. Well, then they call back and they're like, is there an Ashley on the shuttle? And so he's like, Ashley, I'm Ashley. So I'm thinking, what in the world? So they're speaking Spanish to each other back and forth. He's like telling them, from the translation I'm getting from the speakers, that we're not gonna turn around and go back to the hotel because we've come too far. So I'm thinking, I triple checked my room. I don't know what in the world it could be. Well, it turns out the water bottle had a charge, so they put the charge on the room, and then they saw that we had checked out of the room, and they were like, oh, Miss Ashley forgot to, you know, settle her incidentals. And so I was thinking, I didn't know the water was like, I thought it was free. I didn't know. And so at the speed, like, everyone in the van is like, this doesn't happen. This is not normal for us to like get a call while we're on the way back to the airport, especially about something like that. And so the driver is like laughing about it or whatever. He's saying stuff. He's like, oh, it's fine, don't worry. He calls them back and says she didn't know, so they waived the charge. And the crew, like, we were just discussing everything that happened throughout this rotation, and they were like, sweetheart, you have seen it all. Like, you really have gotten the full deal on this trip. But little did they know, once we get on the flight back from Buenos Aires to Atlanta, we had a medical. I can't believe this. We literally, guys, we had a medical, and my camera battery is blinking, so I'm going to wrap this up here, and then I'm gonna do part 2 tomorrow. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.